All right, welcome back. This is it, the final day of our journey together. You have learned so much this week, and now it's time to actually put it all into practice. We're making the big shift from just learning about concepts to really using Linux. This is where it all clicks, and you start to see the real power of the command line.
So, to make this all feel real, I thought, why don't we just walk through what the first few minutes of a typical day looks like for a Linux user? We're going to see how all those commands and ideas we've talked about actually come together in a real workflow. So let's dive into a day in the life of a new Linux power user, which, hey, by the end of this, is going to be you.
Okay, so first things first, before you even open an application or start working, a good habit is to do a quick system health check. Seriously, think of it like a pilot's pre-flight inspection. You just want to make sure the machine is healthy, happy, and ready for whatever you're going to throw at it. It takes a few seconds and can save you from a major headache later on.
This table right here, this is basically your command line dashboard. Let's use a car analogy. Top is like looking at your car's RPMs in real time. It shows you what's running hot right now. DF hash and free hash, those are your fuel and oil gauges. They tell you how much disk space and memory you're using. And that little H just means human readable, so you get gigabytes instead of a crazy long number. Uptime tells you how long the engine has been running and how hard it's working. And uname, that's like checking the car's model and year. Each one gives you a critical piece of the puzzle. Okay, our system check is done, all green lights. Time to open up our apps and get to work. But you know how it goes. Software isn't always perfect. So let's see what happens when we hit our very first snag of the day.
And there it is, the dreaded frozen app, the spinning wheel of doom. We have all been there. Your first instinct in a graphical world is to just start clicking that X button over and over, right? But the Linux terminal gives us a much cleaner, much more powerful way to handle this. The solution is actually pretty elegant. It's a two-step process. First, you use the command psaux. This gives you a list of every single process running on your system. You look through that list to find the unique process ID, the PID, of your frozen app. Think of the PID as its unique identification number. Once you have that number, you use the kill command. This sends a polite signal to the program, asking it to please shut down. This is the standard, safe way to close something that's misbehaving.
But what if that polite request doesn't work? What if the program is so broken it just ignores you? Well, Linux has a plan B. It's called kill 9. And this is not a request, it's an order. It tells the operating system, I don't care what this process is doing, end it now. That's why you see that warning sign. It's the emergency pull the plug option, and it should always be your last resort when a program is completely stuck.
Phew, okay, crisis averted. Let's get back to being productive. Imagine you're deep in a project and you realize, you know what? I need a new piece of software to get this done. This is an area where Linux and the command line absolutely shine. And this is why. Instead of having to go hunt around the internet looking for a download button and hoping it's the right one, you use something called a package manager. You can honestly think of it as your own personal software assistant. You just tell it what you need, and it does all the heavy lifting. It finds the software, installs it, and this is the magical part. It automatically handles all the other little programs, called dependencies, that your new tool needs to run. It's just so streamlined. So let's see what that looks like. On a system like Ubuntu, it's incredibly simple. First, you run sudo apt update. This tells your assistant to go get the latest catalog of all available software. Then you just type sudo apt install, followed by the name of what you want. So in our example, if you need Git, you just type sudo apt install Git. And that's it. A few seconds later, it's installed and ready to go. What could have been a huge pain is done with just 2 commands. Well, it's been a pretty productive session, right? We've checked on our system's health, we solved a problem with a frozen app, and we even installed a new tool. Now it's time to properly wrap things up. And of course, the terminal gives us a clean and direct way to do that too. You basically have 2 simple commands. If you need to restart the whole system, maybe you just installed a big update or something, you just type reboot. When you're all done for the day and want to turn the machine completely off, you use shutdown now. It's clear, it's direct, and you're in complete control, right up to the very end of your session. So that was just a small peek into a typical day. But now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. In just 7 days, you have completed an absolutely incredible journey from being a complete beginner to a competent, confident user. I mean, just look at how far you've come.
We started with just understanding why Linux even exists. Then we got our hands dirty with basic commands, we mapped out the file system, secured things with permissions, learned about users, and finally, today, we tied it all together with system management. Each day built on the one before it, creating this really solid foundation of knowledge.
And I want this to really sink in. This isn't just some fluffy, feel-good statement. It is the absolute truth. You have now covered the essential, core concepts that every single Linux user needs to know. You have the tools, you have the knowledge, and you've seen how it all works together. But here's the best part. This is not the end of your education, not at all. This is the real beginning. We've basically given you a map and the keys to a really cool car. Now it's your turn to get behind the wheel and start driving. The best learning you'll do is when you start applying these skills to your own stuff. So what's next? Well, the most important thing you can do is just practice. Make the terminal a part of your daily routine. Don't be afraid to experiment and try new commands. Once you're comfortable, maybe you'll want to explore shell scripting to automate boring tasks, or learn about networking, or even try managing a server. The possibilities are, and I mean this literally, endless. And that brings us to the final and most important question of all. We have built this foundation together. It's solid and it's ready. The only question left is, what are you going to build with it? Congratulations on completing this journey, and a huge welcome to the world of Linux.